Last episode, Ipswich Town made their biggest signings yet, but it still wasn't enough as goal after goal after goal went in and we sit rock bottom of the Premier League. And with the pressure starting to build on my shoulders, it's time to face the media once again. A great striker-winger option is Duke from Aberdeen or Abdullah Simmer from Brighton, as both have been great for me in my Ipswich save. Also, Brandon Williams is better as a right-back due to being right-footed. Paik Sung-Hoo from Birmingham is a great midfield option, as well as the St. Pauli duo of Jackson Irvine and Marcel Hartel. Now, despite me bringing in Zeki Amdouni for a big fee in the summer, unfortunately the young Swiss international has not hit the ground running, only scoring once in 10 Premier League appearances and 2 goals overall this season. And it's pretty telling in attacking areas that we are really struggling, as not only are we sitting rock bottom of the Premier League, but we've got the worst goal difference and the fewest goals scored, just 14 so far in 16 Premier League games. Now, Duke from Aberdeen is a very interesting option. He's young and he does offer us a great deal of versatility, being able to play not just up front, but also out on the left wing. He's got high attacking and defensive work rate, and whilst I haven't fully scouted him, it looks like his physical stats are absolutely fantastic. Perhaps he may well be the striker to add a different dimension to my attack. And yes, whilst too I haven't got a full scout report back for this man, Abdullah Simmer, he too looks like he has fantastic physical stats and potentially could well be the answer to unlocking some stubborn opposition defences with his rapid speed. And whilst I wasn't necessarily thinking about bringing in a winger as my next signing, my hand might be forced as Valencia have come in with a £1.9 million offer for Wes Burns, which sees the 29-year-old Welshman depart the club after being furious about an apparent lack of game time. I'm hoping that money will hopefully go straight into my transfer budget when the January window opens, and if we're smart we can use that money to try and improve this team for one last push in the Premier League. Now, speaking of improving the team, in the summer transfer window I brought in this man Pedro Malario in the hope that he would become a very special player here at Ipswich Town on the right hand side of my defence. With him just being 22 years of age, I thought his best years would be ahead of him, but I was hoping for a little bit more of an impact from the young Portuguese, as with 14 games played he's only got a 5.86 rating and he has really struggled in his position on the right hand side. Now, to be fair, looking at the rest of my defence on the other side, I've got Davis at the moment, who is my number one choice left back, displacing this man Brandon Williams, who unfortunately at the moment has picked up a very short term injury. However, I've got to be honest, I didn't even think about him playing on the right hand side of my defence. Instead, it does say on the game that on the left is his more natural side. However, I didn't consider the fact that you are 100% right, he is a right footed and potentially might get some better opportunities over that side. Maybe I need to consider mixing up his training and development plan to get the best out of the young man. One man though who has been a very astute signing is this man Eric Sanchez. The 24-year-old Mexican is by far and away the best player in the entire team at 79 rated, and most importantly he came in on a free transfer. The young man has been the heartbeat of my midfield, and I'm sure it won't be long before he breaks the 80 rating bracket. However, it certainly is the other side of my midfield, his partner, my captain Sam Morsey, who's been the man who hasn't exactly hit the heights that I was hoping for. He's supposed to be a leader of men and he was supposed to be leading us to safety this Premier League campaign, but with his contract up in 6 months and with him now being 32 years of age, is the time right to potentially try and look for a longer term replacement for the Egyptian? Now, I've got to be honest, I don't know too much about Sung-Ho from Birmingham, and seemingly my scouts do not either, as that's why I'm eagerly awaiting their report. But once again, judging by the green stars that he's got across all of his attributes, he looked like he could also be a very astute signing, especially as he's got so many different play styles, and he also can play both in central midfield and central defensive midfield as well. Similarly, whilst Jackson Irvine from St. Pauli doesn't exactly fit into the young and up-and-coming transfer policy that I have here at Ipswich Town, with him being 30 years of age, seemingly from his stats it looks like he is absolutely fantastic right across the board and potentially might be able to add some much-needed experience to my midfield as well. Once again, more great options to choose from and food for thought when it comes to trying to improve this team in the January transfer window. New CDMs and a better rated centre-back, strengthen your defence and then build from that space. You can swap your central defensive midfielders with younger CDMs, and likewise for centre-back, invest in youth academy and some coaches as well. So yes, I have obviously just covered that central defensive midfield position, and it is one that's going to be very high on the priority list when it comes to making transfers this season. However, with us not only scoring the least amount of goals in the Premier League, but also conceding the most with 38 in just 16 games, you are absolutely right that defence is an area I must improve. Now, Victor Nelson is another man who came in the summer on big money, and with him being 78 rated, well and truly came in and raised the level of my defence. But I've got to be honest, 13 games in and just a 5.52 rated, he too has struggled to hit the ground running. And who knows, perhaps it may be down to the form of this man Axelton Zabi. Since I moved him across from right back into the centre, he has really struggled, and at just 73 rated, it is unlikely that he's going to improve any further, with him being 26 years of age, and with him giving away soft penalties and really poor defending. Perhaps now is the time to let the young Englishman go. And so that is why I put the question to you on a poll goal on my channel. Should I give him another chance? Or perhaps should I just cut my losses and get rid of him in January? And whilst it was a very close call, you did officially decide that I should sell Axel Tuanzebe and try and bring in a much needed replacement for him. And with him officially now going on the transfer list, let's see when it comes to January if I get any interesting offers for the young man. One thing you're absolutely right on is the importance of investing in the youth academy, and I've got to be honest, that is something that I haven't particularly considered so far. And to be fair, it doesn't really look like I've missed much. With looking at the 5 players that we do currently have at the club, none of them have particularly decent potential apart from this man, Novak. 15 years of age, he's got a high potentially of 84, but is that really the sort of potential that is going to lift Ipswich Town to new heights that this club has never seen before? And so once again, that is why it is time to turn to my scouts to see if they can scour Europe for the best young talent. And obviously with us needing some improvements in our defence, I'm going to start off by scouting England for a centre-back. And I also think it's important to keep the British culture at the club as well. So my second scout's going to go to Scotland. And my final scout is going to stay close to home to Wales as we look to find the best young talent across the United Kingdom. Let's see as the season progresses whether we can make any upgrades to our current youth academy players. Speaking of upgrades though, after getting beaten away from home against Chelsea 3-2 and losing 2-1 away from home to Aston Villa after Connor Chaplin got himself sent off in the first half, we head back to Portman Road in desperate search of some light at the end of the tunnel, as this time we're going to be welcoming Southampton, a team that surely we've got to try and see if we can beat, as they are going to be one of our competitors at the bottom end of the table, having just got promoted from the Championship along with ourselves, in a game that we are absolutely desperate for the 3 points for. And as you can see, due to the poor form of Axel Tuanzebe and the suspension of Connor Chaplin, I have made a couple of changes to my usual starting 11. Wolfenden comes in at the back to partner Victor Nelson, and Hutchinson comes in that central attacking midfield position to play in the hole behind Namdouni up front. There's going to be Kalmadine Suleimana who's going to take the throw here deep inside my half here, right inside the opening 10 minutes as they look to carve out the first opportunity of the game, and they've done just that, but they fire it straight at the goalkeeper. That's a big let off, and they've got it again in a really dangerous position, and that's a wonderful ball through into Kalmadine Suleimana. My word, what was he doing there? So it's brief for Southampton. It's been all Southampton here in the opening 15 minutes as Fraser now has it down this right hand side. Wolfenden comes across, really good defending, showing why it was the right decision to put him in place of Axel Tuanzebe, and then we've gone and given it away in a really dangerous position. Wolfenden so frantically trying to come across, and he doesn't come back across quick enough, and Fraser is on hand with a wonderful first time shot, buried it into the bottom left-hand corner. Southampton have a deserved lead. Well, Wolfenden did the hard work, won it back well, and then played a pass in a really dangerous area, which we then lost, and Southampton pounced with immediate effect. It was a wonderful ball in, and that is a sensational finish at the highest level. Southampton 1, Ipswich 0. So it's brief for Southampton now, full of confidence after that early goal, and once again we've got to make sure that our heads do not drop here. We cannot afford to get another absolute battering here in the Premier League, especially against one of our relegation rivals. Hutchinson though has it, and now he's going to try and see if he can drive forward. What other options has he had up ahead of him? Can he find a ball forward? He can. Into Malera down the right hand side, the Portuguese man, to try and see if he can whip a ball in, looking for Broadhead at the back post, can't quite find him. The left back Davis takes on the volley, blazes it over. Small bone. Right down the line into Fraser, throws it across. This time it's Nelson with the header away, and Namdouni just about manages to get there, but Hutchinson is the only man forward. Where on earth are the rest of my players here? Hutchinson takes a little bit too long, but does flip a wonderful ball right over to Broadhead on the left-hand side, who takes it down really nicely. He's looking for a run into the centre. He finds the Mexican Eric Sanchez, who plays it in. I thought it was going to be 1-1. Perhaps he should have played it across to Namdouni, but he took it on himself, and that was a big opportunity missed. But we've got a corner for our troubles, and it's one that we have to take advantage of. Davies is going to try and throw this one in to the edge of the 6-yard box. Nelson heads it down straight into the arms of the goalkeeper. It was Taylor Booth to start us off here in the second half. We're going to try and see if we can start off the second half just as we ended the first, trying to carve out some decent opportunities. It's floated into the box, and Namdouni, my target man, is nowhere to be seen. Morsey now into Hutchinson, who takes it on, looking for the run of Namdouni. Can he find the run of Namdouni? He can, but no one is there to support him, and that has pretty much been the story of our season so far. So Fraser now is going to burst past Davies, like he's not even there. He's got the acceleration and the pace to get away from him, and that's a really good ball into Stewart, headed down though into the arms of Labrovic. So it's Stewart for Southampton, into Kalmadine Suleimana, who tries to go past Malera. That's a really good challenge from the young Portuguese, and now he's got space and pace to run into here. He's going to drive down the right hand side. Can he deliver a ball into the box? It's floated in, looking for Eric Sanchez. Couldn't quite get his head on it. So it's Stewart for Southampton, goes down the right-hand side into Kalmadine Suleimana, who tries to go past Malera. It's a real ding-dong battle between those two. Down that flank here, looks like Kalmadine Suleimana almost got the better of him. and then whacked his cross way wide. There's Victor Nelson now to bring this one out of defence. Plays a lovely little short pass into Sanchez, who plays it down to Broadhead on the left-hand side. Really good build-up play here from Ipswich. Can we play it across? I was looking for Hurst on as a substitute, but it was played behind him. It's Brooks now into Smallbone. He's going to try and see if he can drive forward here for Southampton, but Xavier on as a substitute perhaps has heard the critics and put in a wonderful challenge there and releases Broadhead, who plays it into Hurst once again. Hurst is going to try and see if he can play it across to Taylor Booth, who couldn't quite get there. The chances are there, but we're not taking them. So we've got about 88 minutes remaining on the clock here, just a couple plus stoppage time for us to try and see if we can find a route back into this game. But at the moment, Southampton are being very professional and just holding on to possession here, as they know we desperately need something here. Sarmiento on as a sub, into Hurst, tries to play it into Eric Sanchez, can't quite make it, but plays it out to Davis instead, and the referee blows for full time at the worst possible time. Well, I'm frustrated, and so are my players, as that was a big opportunity that we had there. We had an extra man on the left-hand side, and we were not able to take advantage. As the full-time era finishes, Ipswich 0, Southampton 1. Well, it's another loss, and it's one that now leaves us 10 points adrift, bottom of the Premier League table, and is the writing on the wall for Ipswich Town. And does our focus now just need to shift on trying to improve this team to try and bounce straight back up from the Championship? And with the January transfer window now officially open, and with the budget now gone up to £12 million, it's time to get down to work. But frustratingly, we're starting off with some departures, 3 to be precise. Firstly, Kiefer Moore has been recalled by Bournemouth, Lewis Travis has been recalled by Blackburn, and the injured Brandon Williams has also been recalled by Manchester United. A combination of injuries and an apparent lack of game time is very frustrating, because it leaves us very light now across the remainder of the squad. And with one of my highest priorities to try and improve my back line, more specifically to try and improve this man Axel Tuanzebe, maybe with those departures I need to shift my attention elsewhere. And I think we're going to be starting off with yet another attacking player. I've mentioned time after time that we don't have enough forward thrust in wide areas, but with the transfer budget stretched, it's ever so important that I make smart signings at a time like this. And that's why we're going to say hello to another free transfer, this time the 27-year-old Akram Afif. He's got that something special, and he's got a 77 rated, which means he will come in and immediately improve the starting 11. He's got fantastic pace, and he's got brilliant technical and mental stats as well. He will replace Broadhead in my starting 11, and I'm really hoping he adds a completely new dimension to my attack. But despite me being able to bring in a new signing to hopefully lift the spirit of the Ipswich fans and club, frustratingly on this game, the board have decided that stupidly enough is enough, and that after only half of a season I have been sacked as manager of Ipswich Football Club. I'm not being given the chance to resurrect the rest of our season, and I cannot believe I'm saying this, but I think after just 3 episodes into this new career mode, it has all come to an end for me at Ipswich Town. To be honest, it's really frustrating that you cannot turn these objectives off, but I hope that you've at least enjoyed these 3 episodes and you will join me on my next quest to try and become an elite manager at another English football club. Thanks everyone for watching, I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you again next time.